And without any further ado, we're actually going to go ahead and dive into some NHL action. And once again, here we have a very short slate of NHL action. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Once again, I got to remind you that we went 5-0 yesterday in our premium selections on patreon.com/BrockPage. Link for that site is in the description section below. The Bruins take on the Canadiens, 7 o'clock Eastern puck drop in Montreal. The Canadiens are not favored at home. Actually, Boston's minus 120 on the road here. Totals at 6.5. Not a whole lot of movement on this side here. Pretty good two-way action there. We did see movement upward on the total. So once again, Boston open and remains minus 120. Total open 6 up to 6.5. 65% of the consensus are leaning toward Boston. 66% shaded toward the under. And right now, Montreal is plus 105 on the money line. Boston plus 205, laying the goal and a half. We have Yaroslav Halak for Boston, Carey Price for the Canadiens. Now, if you like Halak in this matchup here, he's 4-1-1 on the year, 257 goals against, 924 save percentage. Boston is in first place in the Atlantic Division, 15-3-5 overall. They have 35 total points on the year, and they've successfully won their games in 4 out of their last 5. So once again, 4-1 straight up in their last 5. Marchand has 16 goals on the year, 23 assists, 39 total points. He's plus 7 on the season. Pasternak, 20 goals, 16 assists, 36 points for him. He's plus 9. And then the crafty veteran, I think he's 42 years old, 43, Zdeno Chara. He is plus 15. So whenever he's on the ice, good things happen. Now Boston ranks in the top 5 in scoring, top 5 in goals allowed. Meanwhile, Montreal on the other side, they're in the bottom 10 in goals allowed, bottom 10 in shots allowed. They're right in the middle of a 4-game losing streak, so kind of ice cold right now for Canadiens backers. Now, total-wise, Montreal 7-5 to the under on their home ice. I'm going to lean toward the road favorite in this one. Give me Boston minus $1.20 and the under 6.5 in that matchup. Next game, Minnesota Wild taking on the Devils, 7 o'clock New Jersey. The Devils are minus 135, totals at 6. We saw a nickel move toward New Jersey and movement upward on the total. The Devils open $1.30 up to 135. Total open 5.5 up to 6. 52% are leaning New Jersey. 57% shaded toward the under. Right now, Minnesota's plus $1.15 on the money line. The Devils are plus $1.80, laying the goal and a half. We have Mackenzie Blackwood for the Devils, Kakinen for Minnesota. Now, Blackwood comes into this game with a 307 goals against and an 898 save percentage. New Jersey's been victorious in just 4 out of 12 games at the Prudential Center. They're officially 4-4-4 at home, and they failed to cover in 8 out of those 12 games. They rank in last place in the Metropolitan Division, 17 points back of the division lead. They're in the bottom 3 in scoring, bottom 3 in goals allowed. The Minnesota, on the other side, winners in 4 out of their last 8. Parise has 9 goals, 3 assists. Zucker, 8 goals, 16 points. And Stahl, 10 assists and 17 points for him. Now, when it comes to this total, the Devils are 8-4 to the over in Newark. I'm going to lean toward the road dog in this one. Give me Minnesota plus $1.15 and the over 6 goals in that game. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines of personal leans out for NHL on this Tuesday here, but before we dive into some more of that, I just want to quickly remind you once again to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we went 5-0 in our premium selections yesterday on the day for Monday. We're also hitting at 65% for the entire college football season. And at the end of this upload, I'm going to let you know the difference between what we do here on YouTube and my Patreon page. You can check out my current record for free right now. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, let's go ahead and dive into this next and final matchup for the show. And once again, all starts Eastern Standard Time. So we have ourselves the Stars taking on the Blackhawks. And that's going to be an 8 o'clock Eastern puck drop in Chicago. Not a whole lot of movement in this one. We did see movement upward, downward, back and forth. But Dallas open 115. They remain minus 115. Total open 5.5 and remains 5.5. So once again, Dallas is minus $1.15. Totals 5.5. 58% are leaning Dallas. 74% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Blackhawks are catching even money on the money line, and Dallas is plus 225 on the puck line. We have Hudobin for Dallas, Robbie Lehner for the Blackhawks. Hudobin's 6-3 on the year, 215 goals against, 929 save percentage. Dallas is right in the middle of a 7-game winning streak. Hot team right now. They rank the top 3 in goals allowed. Hintz has 10 goals on the year, 12 points. Rattle off 8 goals, 7 assists. He's plus 10. Seguin and Heiskanen, 6 goals apiece for them. And Heiskanen is plus 13 on the season. Now Dallas ranks at the top 10 in shots allowed, top 5 in goals allowed on the road. Chicago on the other side, they lost their last 3 straight. They rank in the bottom 3 in shots allowed and bottom 10 in home scoring. Now total-wise, Chicago 9-4 to the under at home. Dallas 7-5 to the under when traveling. I'm going to lean toward the Stars minus $1.15 and the under 5.5 in that game. All right, guys, let's go ahead and dive into our quick pick recap brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where once again, we went 5-0 in our premium selections yesterday on that website. I like Dallas minus $1.15 under 5.5. Minnesota plus 115 over 6 goals. And last but certainly not least, I like Boston minus $1.20 and the under 6.5 in that matchup. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on Patreon, where we went 5-0 in our premium selections yesterday. We're also hitting at 65% for the entire college football season. Now, a lot of folks who ask me what's the difference between what you do on Patreon and your YouTube channel right here on YouTube. And I tell them this, what we do here on YouTube is we handicap every single game on the board, both the side and the total, especially in professional sports. We don't get to all the college games just because of the sheer volume. There's too many. I don't have enough time in the day. But when it comes to the professional realm, we handicap every single game on the board, both the side and the total. And I'll tell you this much, if you were to bet your hard-earned money on every single game on the board, side and total, you're going to lose your money in the long run. And as a matter of fact, you're probably going to end up losing it in the short run as well. The books are they're too sharp. They're too smart. The math is always against you. So what we do on Patreon is we really narrow it down and focus in on 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're high percentage selections. They're games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, my current record on Patreon is a lot better than it is on YouTube. And you can check out that current record for free right now. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. Link for my record. My current record is located right on the homepage. And like I said, you can check that out literally right now by clicking the link in the description section below. Now, most importantly, guys, I do have to thank you for watching me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, we're going to go ahead and dive into our college basketball slate here today. And we do have a couple marquee matchups here. So before we go ahead and get into it, just got to remind you once again that we went 5-0 in our premium selections on patreon.com/BrockPage. Link for that site is in the description section below. All right, let's go ahead and get into these college games. We have Georgia taking on Michigan State, and that's going to be a 2:30 Eastern tip-off in that game. Sparty's minus 13, totals 151.5. We did see a half a point move toward Michigan State and movement upward on the total. Sparty opened 12.5 up to minus 13. Total opened 151 up to 151.5. Now the Bulldogs of Georgia, they failed to cover in their last 2 games. They're also just 1-3 against the spread in their last 4. They allowed 80 points to Dayton, and they also allowed 86 points to Citadel. That's right, 86 points to Citadel. Now, Michigan State on the other side, winners in 3 out of their last 4. They rank the top 20 in offensive rebounding in the country. Cassius Winston, that's the guy right there. He's averaging 15 points a game, 6 assists. Aaron Henry, he's also averaging 13 points a game, 3 rebounds, and 2 blocks. And, of course, Xavier Tillman, the big guy, 10 rebounds for him. He's averaging, anytime you got a college athlete averaging double-digit rebounds, you're in a good spot. So once again, Xavier Tillman, he's averaging 10 boards a game, 11 points. Now, total-wise, Georgia, 80% to the over on the year. I'm going to lean toward the chalk in this one. Give me Michigan State minus 13 in the over 151.5 in that game. Next matchup, it is going to be Arizona State taking on Princeton, and that's a 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in that matchup. The Sun Devils are minus 11, totals 140.